And now, after this, Bali Maharaj brought valuable garment, ornament, sandalwood pearl, battle knolls, lamp, and various nectarian foods. And along with his family members, he worshipped the Lord according to the regulative principle and offered his riches and body unto the lotus feet. King Bali was feeling such transcendental pleasure that he repeatedly grasps the Lord's lotus feet and kept them on his chest. And sometime he put them on the top of his head. In this way, he felt transcendental bliss. Tears of love and affection began to flow from his eyes, and all his bodily hair stood on end. He began to offer prayer to the Lord in a voice which choked up intermittently. So that's what we did yesterday. We will continue. My Lord Balram, you are the original Anantadev. You are so great that Anandev Sesa and other transcendental forms have originally emanated from you. And you, Lord Krishna, are the original personality of Godhead, with an eternal form that is all blissful and full of complete knowledge. You are the creator of the whole world. You are the original initiator and propounder of the system of Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. You are the Supreme Brahman, the original personality of Godhead. I, therefore, with all respect, offer my obeisances unto both of you. My dear lords, it is very difficult for the living entity to get to see you. Yet, when you are merciful upon your devotees, you are easy for them to see. As such, only out of your causeless mercy have you agreed to come here and be visible to us, who are generally influenced by the qualities of ignorance and passion. My dear Lord, we belong to the Daitya or demon category. The demons are demoniac persons, the Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Vidyadharas, the Charanas, the Yakshas, the Rakshas, and the Pisachas, the ghost, and the hobgoblins are by nature incapable of worshipping you or becoming your devotees. Instead of becoming your devotees, they are simply impediments on the path of devotion. But you are the Supreme Personality Godhead, representing all the Vedas, and are situated in the mode of uncontaminated goodness, Suddha Sattva. Your position is always transcendental. For this reason, some of us, all the born of mode of passion and ignorance, have taken shelter of your lotus feet and have become devotees. Some of us are actually pure devotees, and some of us have taken shelter of your lotus feet because we desire to gain something from devotion. By your causeless mercy only, we demons in direct contact with your personality. This contact is not possible even for the great demigods. No one knows how you act through your Ogmaya potency. Even demigods cannot calculate the expanse of the activity of your internal potency. So how is it possible for us to know it? I therefore place my humble prayers before you. Please be kind to me, who am fully surrendered unto you, and favor me with your causeless mercy, so that I may simply remember your lotus feet, birth after birth. My only ambition is that I may live alone, just like Paramhansas, who travel alone here and there in great peace of mind, depending simply upon your lotus feet. I also desire that if I have to associate with anyone, I may associate only with your pure devotees and no one else. Haribol. For your pure devotees are always well-wisher of all living entities. What a wonderful glorification, Bali Maharaj. He continued, My dear Lord, you are the supreme master and director of the whole world. Please, therefore, engage me in your service and let me thus become free from all material contaminations. You can purify me in that way because if someone engage himself in the loving service of your Lordship, he is immediately freed from all kind of regulative principle enjoyed in the Vedas. He continued, the word Paramhansa mentioned here means the supreme swan. It is said that the swan can draw milk from a mixture of milk and water. It can take only the milk portion and reject the watery portion. Similarly, a person who can draw out the spiritual portion from this material world and who can live alone, depending only on the Supreme Spirit, not on the material world, is called a Paramhansa. When one achieves the Paramhansa platform, he is no longer under the regulative principles of Vedic injunctions. A Paramhansa accepts only the association of pure devotees and reject others who are too much materially addicted. In other words, those who are materially addicted cannot understand the value of the Paramhansa, but those who are fortunate, who are advanced in spiritual sense, take shelter of the Paramhansa and successfully complete the mission of the human life. So after Lord Krishna heard the prayers of the Bali Maharaj, he responded to the Bali Maharaj as follow. As we see, when we make a request or prayer, Krishna always responds. That is the beauty. So when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it's a prayer. And know for sure that Krishna is listening. If our intent is pure, then he will give us the pure bhakti, definitely. So he is responding to Bali Maharaj as follow. My dear king of the demons, in the millennium of Swayambhuva Manu, the Prajapati known as Marichi begot 6 sons, all demigods, in the womb of his wife. Urna, his wife name was, and once upon a time Lord Brahma became captivated by the beauty of his daughter and was following her, impelled by sex desire. At that time, these 6 demigods looked at the action of Lord Brahma with abhorrence. This criticism of Brahma's action by the demigods constituted a great offense on their part, and for this reason, they were condemned to take birth as the son of the demon Hiranyakashipu. These sons of Hiranyakashipu were therefore put into the womb of Mother Devaki. And as soon as they took their birth, Kamsa killed them one after another. My dear king of the demons, Mother Devaki is very anxious to see these 6 dead sons again. And she is very much aggrieved on the account of their early death at the hand of Kamsa. I know that all of them are living with you. I have decided to take them with me to pacify my mother Devki. After seeing my mother, all six of these conditioned souls will be liberated. All six of these conditioned souls will be liberated, and thus, in great pleasure, they will be transferred to their original planet. The names of these six conditioned souls are as follows. You know, our scripture has so much in detail. Huh? Smara, Ugdita, Pariswanga, Patanga, Kshudrabhut, and Gruni. They will be reinstated in their former positions as demigod. So after thus informing the king of the demons, Krishna stopped speaking. And Bali Maharaj understood the Lord's purpose. He duly worshipped the Lord, and thereafter Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram took away the six conditioned souls and returned to the city of Dwarka, where Lord Krishna presented them as little babies before his mother Devki. Mother Devki was overwhelmed with joy and was so ecstatic in motherly feeling that milk immediately began to flow from her breast, and she fed the babies with great satisfaction. She took them on her lap again and again, smelling their heads and thinking, quote, I have gotten my lost children back, unquote. For the time being, she was overpowered by the energy of Vishnu, and in great motherly affection, she enjoyed the company of her lost children. The milk from the breast of Devki was transcendental nectar, because the same milk had been sucked by Lord Krishna. As such, the babies who sucked the breast of Devkiji, which had touched the body of Lord Krishna, immediately become self-realized persons. The babies therefore began to offer their obeisances unto Lord Krishna, Balram, their father Vasudev, and their mother Devki. After this, they were immediately transferred to their respective heavenly planets. After they departed, Devki was stunned with wonder that her dead children had come back and had again been transferred to their respective planets. She could adjust the event only by thinking that Lord Krishna can perform anything wonderful in his pastime, because his potencies are all inconceivable. Without accepting the inconceivable, unlimited potency of the Lord, one cannot understand that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Soul. By his unlimited potency, he performed unlimited pastimes, and no one can describe them in full, nor can anyone knows them all. Sutta Goswami, speaking Srimad Bhagavatam before the sages of Naimisaranya, headed by Sonaka Rishi, gave his verdict in this connection as follows. Quote, great sages, please understand that the transcendental pastime of Lord Krishna are all eternal. They are not ordinary narration of the historical incidents. Such narrations are identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Anyone, therefore, who hears such narrations of the Lord's pastime is immediately freed from the contamination of material existence. And those who are pure devotees enjoy these narrations as nectar entering into their ears. Such narrations were spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, the exalted son of Vyasadeva, and anyone who hears them, as well as anyone who repeats them for the hearing of others, become Krishna conscious. And only the Krishna conscious persons are eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 85th chapter of Krishna, spiritual instructions for Vasudeva, and return of the six dead sons of Devaki by Lord Sri Krishna. So we will be embarking on chapter 86, the kidnapping of Subhadra, and Lord Krishna visiting Shrutadev and Bahulasva. After hearing of the incident described in the last chapter, King Parikshit became more inquisitive to hear about Krishna and his pastimes. And thus he inquired from Sukadev Goswami how his grandmother Subhadra was kidnapped by his grandfather Arjuna at the instigation of Lord Krishna. King Parikshit was very eager to learn how his grandfather kidnapped and married his grandmother. So Sukadev Goswami began to narrate the story as follows. Once upon a time, King Parikshit's grandfather Arjuna, the great hero, was visiting several holy places of pilgrimage. And while thus traveling all over, he happened to come to Prabhas Kshetra. In Prabhas Kshetra, he heard the news that Lord Balram was negotiating the marriage of Subhadra, the daughter of Arjuna's maternal uncle, Vasudeva. Although her father Vasudeva and her brother Krishna were not in agreement with him, Balram was in favor of marrying Subhadra to Duryodhana. Arjuna, however, desired to gain Subhadra's hand himself. As he thought of Subhadra and her beauty, Arjuna became more and more captivated with the idea of marrying her. And with a plan in mind, he dressed himself like a Vaishnava sannyasi, carrying a tridanda in his hand. The Mayavadi sannyasis take one danda or one rod, whereas the Vaishnava sannyasis take three dandas or three rods. The three rods or three danda indicate that a Vaishnava sannyasi vows to render service to the Supreme Personality Godhead with his body, mind, and words. At the tip of the sannyasa danda, you can see like a little crow-shaped three sticks all together, two sticks joined with the main danda to make it three danda. This system of tridanda sannyas has been in existence for a long time, and the Vaishnava sannyasis are called tridandis, or sometimes tridandi swamis or tridandi goswamis. Sannyasis are generally meant to travel all over the country for preaching work. But during the 4 months of the rainy season in India, from July through October, they do not travel but take shelter in one place and remain there without moving. This non-movement of the sannyasis is called Chaturmasya Vrat. When a sannyasi stays in one place for 3-4 months, the local inhabitants of that place take advantage of his presence to become spiritually advanced. How wonderfully everything was planned in earlier days. And that trace we can see when I was young. In my village, every evening, everybody will get together and read Mahabharata, Ramayana or something. At least they were interested to hear about the glories of Krishna. Arjuna, in the dress of a tridandi sannyasi, remained in the city of Dwarka for the 4 months of the rainy season, devising a plan whereby he could get Subhadra as his wife. None of the inhabitants of Dwarka. Is it raining? Let me see. No, it is not raining, but I don't know, maybe somebody's taking shower or something. So Arjuna, in the dress of a Tridandi sannyasi, remained in the city of Dwarka for the 4 months of the rainy season, devising a plan whereby he could get Subhadra as his wife. None of the inhabitants of Dwarka, including Lord Balaram, could recognize the sannyasi to be Arjuna. Therefore, all of them offered their respect and obeisances to the sannyasi without knowing the actual situation. So one day, Lord Balaram invited these particular sannyasis to lunch at his home. Balramji very respectfully offered him all kind of palatable dishes, and the so-called sannyasi was eating sumptuously. While eating at the home of Balramji, Arjuna was simply looking at beautiful Subhadra, who was very enchanting to great heroes and kings. Out of love for her, Arjuna's eyes brightened, and he looked at her with glittering eyes. Arjuna decided that somehow or other he would achieve Subhadra as his wife, and his mind became agitated on the account of this strong desire. Arjuna, the grandfather of Maharaj Parikshit, was himself extraordinarily beautiful, and his bodily structure was very attractive to Subhadra, who decided within her mind that she would accept only Arjuna as her husband. As a simple girl, she was smiling with great pleasure looking at Arjuna. Thus, Arjuna also became more and more attracted by her. In this way, Subhadra dedicated herself to Arjuna, and he resolved to marry her by any means. He then became absorbed 24 hours a day in thought of how he could get Subhadra as his wife. He was afflicted with the thought of getting Subhadra and had not a moment's peace of mind. So once upon a time, Subhadra, seated on a chariot, came out of the palace fort to see the gods in the temple. Arjuna took this opportunity, and with the permission of Vasudeva and Devaki, he kidnapped her. After getting on Subhadra's chariot, he prepared himself for a fight, taking up his bow and holding up with his arrows. The soldiers ordered to check him. Arjuna took Subhadra away. While Subhadra was thus being kidnapped by Arjuna, her relatives and family members began to cry. But still, he took her, just as a lion takes his prey and departs. When it was disclosed to Lord Balaram that the so-called sannyasi was Arjuna, who had planned such a device simply to take away Subhadra, and that he had actually taken her, he became very angry, just as the waves of the ocean become agitated on a full moon day. Lord Balaram became greatly disturbed. So Lord Krishna was in favor of Arjuna. Therefore, along with other members of the family, he tried to pacify Balaram by falling at his feet and begging him to pardon Arjuna. What Krishna cannot do for his devotees, huh? Krishna convinced Lord Balram that Subhadra was attached to Arjun, and thus Balram became pleased to know that she wanted Arjuna as her husband. The matter was settled, and to please the newly married couple, Lord Balram arranged a send a dowry consisting of an abundance of riches, including elephants, chariots, horses, men servants, and maid servants. So Maharaj Parikshit was very eager to hear more about Krishna. And so, after finishing the narration of Arjuna's kidnapping Subhadra, Sukadev Goswami began to narrate another story as follows. We have the time. So there was a householder Brahmana in the city of Mithila, the capital of the kingdom of Videha. This Brahmana, whose name was Shrutadev, was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Because he was fully Krishna conscious and always engaged in the service of the Lord, he was completely peaceful in mind, detached from all material attraction. What a wonderful sentence. I'll read. Because he was fully Krishna conscious and always engaged in service of the Lord, he was completely peaceful in mind and detached from all material attractions. This is the sign. Haribol. He was very learned and had no desire other than to be fully situated in Krishna consciousness. Although in the order of householder life, he never took great pains to earn anything for his livelihood. He was satisfied with whatever he could achieve without much endeavor. And somehow or other, he lived in that way. Every day he would get the necessities of life in just the quantity required and not more. And if we really think about it, we don't need that much. Haribol. That was his destiny. And the Brahmana had no desire to get more than what he needed. That's extraordinary. Like when I read like this, that example always come in my mind, that if we put throw the bags, 40-pound bags of grains or basmati rice and all these things, the bird, they may come, and they will eat some, and they may carry few more grains for the baby's bird, but they will not take it. But as soon as the human being will come to know that there are all the basmati rice bags are lying there and anybody can pick it up, they will bring the big trailer, that they just want to make sure that nobody can have it except them. That's a greediness. And we can see how much we are collecting, and still we don't feel satisfied, that we won't be able to use it even. At the time of death, we know that everybody leaves more than 50% of their saving for the next generation. Haribol. So he was very, very peaceful. And that was his destiny. The Brahmana had no desire to get more than what he needed. And thus he was peacefully executing the regulative principle of a Brahmana's life, as I enjoy in the revealed scriptures. There are so many living examples. We see so many sannyasis, so many devotees. They give up everything for the pleasure of Krishna, and they are living with very minimal. Haribol. Fortunately, the king of Mithila was as good a devotee as Brahmana. The name of this famous king was Bahulaswa. Bahulaswa. He was very well established in his reputation as a good king, and he was not at all ambitious to extend his kingdom for the sake of sense gratification. As such, both the Brahmana and the king Bhulaswa remained pure devotees of Lord Krishna in Mithila. So this is a wonderful contradictory example. One is very poor and one is very rich king, but still he exhibited that he lived a very simple spiritual life. A wonderful example. We have still 3 4 minutes. Let me see how big that next paragraph is. 4 minutes. We can, I think, we will be able to finish that. Since Lord Krishna was very merciful toward these two devotees, how he cannot be, right? When you dedicate your life, Krishna becomes pleased. King Bahulaswa and the Brahmana Srutadev, he one day asked his driver, Daruka, to take his chariot into the capital city of Mithila. Lord Krishna was accompanied by the great sage Narada, Vamandev, Atri, Vyasdev, Parshuram, Asita, Aruni, Shrukadev, Brushpati, Kanva, Maitreya, Chivana, and others. Haribol. Lord Krishna and the sages passed through many villages and towns, and everywhere the citizens would receive them with great respect and offer them article in worship. To the citizens who came to see the Lord and all the assembled sages, it seems as though the sun were present along with his various satellite planets. On that journey, Lord Krishna and the sages passed through the kingdoms of Anartha, Danva, Kurujangala, Kanka, Matsya, Panchav, Kunti, Madhu, Kekaya, Koshala, and Arna. And thus all the citizens of these places, both men and women, could see Lord Krishna face to face. In this way, they enjoy celestial happiness with open hearts, full of love and affection for the Lord. And when they saw the face of the Lord, it seems to them that they were drinking nectar through their eyes. When they saw Krishna, all the ignorant misconceptions of their lives dissipated. Does it happen to us when we see the deities? When the Lord passed through the various countries and the people came to visit him, simply by glancing over them, the Lord would bestow all good fortune upon them and liberate them from all kind of ignorance. In some places, the demigod would join with the human beings, and their glorification of the Lord would cleanse all direction of all inauspicious things. In this way, Lord Krishna gradually reached the kingdom of Vedaha. So I think we should stop here. It's 7:54. We should be punctual. And I have to do certain things that they have assigned me to do today for them. So it would be nice chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and doing some service to some Vaishnavas. So with those thoughts, and I deeply appreciate you all that you are joining. I was just thinking that no matter where I am, I always would like to join at 2 o'clock Houston time. That's my intense desire, and hope Krishna fulfill, except when I travel or when I have the Badrinath Yatra. I think it would be difficult because it's daytime and we are doing parikrama. So those days, I think I will take your blessings to have the pilgrimage, visit nice places. But after the yatra is finished, my travel finished, then definitely every day I will be joining from India. And I hope that if whenever I leave this world, someone from this group will continue this for the benefit of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. It is very essential that we get together early in the morning, because that's the time we have nothing to do actually. And if we can do one thing right, go to the bed at 8 o'clock, like everybody, we have so many people here, but they knows it. I told them that I need my dinner at least by 7:30, and I go to the bed by 8 o'clock. So now I'm releasing little time here because I have 1 hour of more sleep every day. And it's very, very pleasing. And they are very cooperative. They don't bother me. They have given me the nice room upstairs to chant.